DESE recently released an article called Supporting Educators and Learning in the Era of COVID-19. In that document, they had this chart that you can see on this screen talking about what learning should look like in this new era. What they're saying learning should look like now versus what it used to look like is highlighted in the first set of boxes. So if you think about what learning looked like before when you were in your classroom, you might have seen that we had, a strict school day schedule, that you used special materials like lab equipment, that you had a scope and sequence that you followed, that you assigned readings just so people could get caught up, and that a lot of times maybe we had some busy work just to try to keep students all on the same page. But now, a lot of those things have to shift. So we can no longer require the same type of pacing and scope and sequence that we did before. If so, we need to rethink what we are doing in class. What it should look like is allowing for extended time for learning and for reflection. So now we need to be thinking about reducing the amount of work that we provide students by at least half. We also need to be providing them double the amount of time that you would when they were sitting in your classroom. These recommendations come from people who have been in the online teaching community for a very long time. We also need to make sure that we're being careful of what materials we're asking students to use, and that when we are selecting the learning targets to follow, that we're really being purposeful in the ones that we're picking. So they need to be a little bit more of the essential standards and less on just every single target that used to show up on a MAP test. Because as you guys know, we are no longer held to the same MAP test standards for the rest of the school year. In addition to that, we need to make sure that we're providing students the opportunity for them to explore their interests and trying to make the tasks meaningful and manageable. If we can provide them with opportunities to learn that don't require the internet, that's helpful as well. The second set of boxes focus on the teacher instruction versus the teacher and student interaction. So when you were in your classroom, a lot of times the teacher would deliver the information, you'd be giving the instructions and feedback, but now we need to look at more opportunities for teachers to connect with their students virtually, and then allowing students to provide feedback to one another as well. One of the things that we can do is we can still provide that coaching and feedback on their work samples or through videos, but we also need to open that up so that students have the opportunity to engage in that reflection for themselves and for their classmates. Something you might consider is allowing students to then reflect on their learning and provide a short explanation to a family member about what they learned and how they learned it. The last section really highlights the assignments and the learning that we are asking of our students. Previously, we used to ask them to complete almost a checkoff list of tasks that we might have to cover in a given year. We also would ask them to solve hypothetical problems or complete a project that was more focused on the form over the function of it. And now we need to be thinking about connecting problems to the real world. And right now, their real world is their household. So things like cooking, repairing things, gardening, home renovating, items like that. We're also asking students to be able to identify relevant problems in their life, and they develop and propose solutions to them. If we can allow students to deeply engage or explore different phenomena around them, they are going to be a lot more inclined to actually participate in the learning. So I'm going to set the link to this DESE article in the comments section below so that if you would like to check it out, you can do so there on YouTube, and I will also send this out with the staff email.